Wait.
Oh. Okay.
That is so. I used to use in League of Legends, uninstall,
What?
play normals. I used to go.
Fucking stupid ass controls.
Hello everyone, today I'm going to be reacting to another Women Dashcam video, and this one is titled Dashcam Used as Evidence Against Lying Driver. So it's another one of those moments. So yeah, let's get started with this video in 3, 2, 1.
Road rage, recklessness, red light runners, and ridiculous excuses are all coming up. Floor the gas and get ready for another 20 dashcam videos sent in by our subscribers. Isaido was driving his Chevy Silverado, acting as a pilot vehicle to warn drivers behind him of the tractor ahead. When one approaching driver began to speed around Isaido, he pulled left in an attempt to block his overtake. The Subaru Legacy flew past Isaido's pickup at the very moment the tractor was making a left turn toward its destination, and the Subaru driver ended up losing control before sliding off the road and into a field. Incredibly, the Subaru didn't roll over as it slid through the rows of crops, throwing a massive cloud of dust into the air. Isaido immediately drove over to the car and verified that the driver was unhurt while calling 911. When Washington State Patrol troopers responded, the Subaru driver told them he'd assumed the tractor was continuing straight and that it would be safe to pass. In the end, they didn't issue the driver any citations. Isaido hopes this footage will serve as a warning to our viewers. Pay attention anytime there is farm equipment on the road. That guy had to call a tow truck for his car, so he definitely didn't get where he was going in any big hurry. Tayson was on his way home when the driver of an eyelash-sporting Toyota Corolla turned across his lane, and his brakes weren't up to the task of preventing a collision. After clipping the Corolla, Tayson had no idea what to do, as this was his first collision. He pulled over as a witness summoned the police, and 20 minutes later, a motorcycle cop responded to the scene. Sadly, his Mazda 3 had to be towed away after the damage to the engine was too severe to continue driving it. It would eventually be totaled by the other driver's insurance provider. Speaking of the other driver, they told their insurance provider that Tayson had run a red light. Thankfully, after he sent over a copy of his dashcam footage, the insurance company accepted liability and paid Tayson for his car. He told us not to worry, he's already installed a dashcam in his new car. If you need a dashcam so you can prove what really happened after a collision, we've got coupons in the description for the models we use in our own cars. Keaton watched a Toyota pickup driver make an illegal U-turn after his light had already turned red, but he wasn't the only one who witnessed the infraction.
The police!
A Woodstock police officer approaching the intersection quickly chased after the scofflaw to dish up a serving of instant justice, while Keaton continued to the shopping complex across the street, laughing all the way. Jordan was on his way home to pick up his wife when a driver he describes as a very kind and thoughtful lady ran a red light, T-boning his Jeep Patriot as he tried to swerve around her car. When Jordan spoke to the other driver, he told us she claimed that he was going too fast, as if that would excuse the fact that she'd run a red light. Jordan is thankful his wife and child weren't in his SUV when it was struck. Sadly, Jordan is confident his Jeep will be totaled as a result of the collision. This subscriber was headed to pick up some breakfast when he ended up waiting behind a police SUV at a traffic light. Watch what happened over a second after the light turned green.
Oh no. Please. Instant justice again?
Unsurprisingly, about a second after the other driver ran their freshly red light, the cop in front of our subscriber activated his party lights and took off after them. Gotta love that instant justice. Lauren was on her way home from a science museum with her little sister Megan when she encountered a stopped SUV in the middle lane of Lakeshore Drive. She admits she was speeding by 20 miles per hour, but it looks like everyone else was too.
You almost rear-ended that SUV.
The driver of a Honda Civic cut across the entire road, narrowly missing a collision with Lauren's Lexus as they threaded the needle between it and the stopped SUV. Lauren pointed out the Honda driver was already behaving recklessly, tailgating another SUV in the right lane before the close call. When she slammed on her brakes, she rapidly decelerated from 60 to 30 miles per hour to avoid getting clipped. Then again, driving 60 in a 40 is probably considered reckless driving in a lot of places, and certainly where I live. Just saying. Lauren is thankful her prized Lexus, which she inherited from her late grandmother, wasn't damaged. Ian had just completed a lane change and was passing a pickup truck in the neighboring lane when the driver surprised him with an illegal U-turn.
You fucking moron!
Ian was unable to avoid colliding with the side of the pickup. He couldn't even swerve out of the way as there was a traffic island on his left. Thankfully, the local fire chief passed by the scene and summoned firefighters to help. Ian's Kia EV6 was heavily damaged by the impact, but thankfully he wasn't injured. The pickup driver wasn't wearing his seatbelt, and while we can't get too specific, we'll just say that he got a good look at his steering wheel. In fact, Ian said the pickup driver had to be told more than once to sit down and wait for paramedics to examine him before he was eventually taken away in an ambulance. Ouch.
That's why
Scott
you
was
always wear a
taking his two
seatbelt.
sons to pick up supplies for a trip to the beach when he watched a sedan pass traffic illegally in an oncoming lane. And that wasn't the only illegal thing about it.
Where's the police?
Police!
After being cut off by a pickup driver who waited until the correct time to get in the left turn lane, the driver of the Salad Spinner Mobile started road raging against the pickup, even opening their door to confront them. Scott's dashcam has two front-facing lenses, a wide angle and a telephoto, and the telephoto lens perfectly captured the scofflaw's plate number. When the light turned green, they swerved in front of the pickup truck. Then they sped off, presumably on their way to donate blood or help old ladies cross the street or something. Be honest, do you think these crazy spinning blades actually look cool? And if so, what's wrong with you? The subscriber was on her way to a park when a Toyota parked on the street suddenly turned in front of her
There's
without any
nothing wrong with
warning.
that.
When a Toyota parked on the street suddenly turned in front of her without any warning.
Oh my god.
After the impact, our subscriber stopped and exchanged information with the other driver. Fixing her Camry ended up costing about $9,000 US dollars.
Wait.
This subscriber was making a right on red when an oncoming driver sped way too fast into his left turn, overshooting not only the lane he should have ended up in, but the entire road.
So
After
lucky.
barely missing our subscriber's Honda Civic, the SUV climbed the
Freaking
curb and
lucky.
crossed the sidewalk before knocking over someone's fence. Our subscriber told us she returned to the
Okay.
scene to make sure the SUV driver was okay. By the time she'd returned, the SUV driver had already left the scene, making his
What the
collision with the
fuck?
fence a hit and run. I guess if you're going to break the law, you'd might as well commit, am I right?
Okay.
Want to see how Dodge Dude's Dart got dented and damaged? He was almost home when a pickup driver ran a red
Dodge
light.
Oh. Don't. Oh my god.
Police and paramedics
Hopefully
responded after the
it's
collision,
okay.
but thankfully nobody was seriously injured.
Good.
Disappointingly, after desperately waiting for 2 difficult weeks, Dodge Dude discovered his Dart would definitely never drive again. He wanted to shout out the Brown family, and he said they love all the Wham Bam channels.
The
If you're a
Brown
Wham Bam fan, T-bone that subscribe button while we keep the show rolling. Monkey is a truck driver who was getting ready to make a left turn in his Freightliner Coronado, but he spotted a Tesla behaving badly right after the light turned green.
You fucking moron!
Tesla man can't drive. That Tesla man can't drive.
The Model Y turned across Monkey's path from the straight lane, cutting him off as he made his way into the intersection. Sadly, there was no
Monkey like
instant
that.
justice this time, unlike in Monkey's previous submission we featured. That makes this his second time being featured on Wham Bam
Okay.
Dashcam, but the first time we featured footage. We'll put a link to the previous episode he was in at the end of this video. Just in case you thought Tesla drivers were the only ones turning left from the wrong lane, here's a BMW driver doing exactly the same thing. Drew was waiting patiently to make a left turn when a black BMW sped past him in the straight lane. When it reached the intersection, the driver made a left turn before spinning out and colliding with an SUV.
Wait.
Maybe the use of their aftermarket turn signal made the BMW driver think this maneuver was allowed, but that's not how it works. When police arrived, Drew gave them a copy of his dashcam footage so they could see what had happened. When the cops questioned the BMW driver, Drew says he claimed he thought both lanes were for turning, and he'd forgotten his 2022 M5 was in rear-wheel drive mode, as if that excused his recklessness. He also said he'd only gotten the car 2 months prior, which might explain why he was so bad at driving it. Remember, the skills don't come with the car. Brandon was driving home in his GMC Sierra when he encountered a driver who'd left a gap in traffic so that other drivers could enter and exit a driveway, which we all know is not required, right?
Oh no. Oh no.
Like, what the?
Evidently not. An oncoming pickup driver turned through the gap, forcing Brandon to slam on his brakes to avoid T-boning it, while the driver never even looked over to see if there was any traffic coming. Thankfully, the only casualties in this incident were the bags containing his and his wife's lunch, which were launched off the passenger seat. Remember, leaving a gap isn't courteous, it's dangerous. Close the gap.
Coño.
This subscriber was meeting up with a friend in a parking lot when another driver began backing up to leave before colliding with our subscriber's friend's cargo carrier.
That SUV. He's gonna drive off. He's gonna drive off. Or not?
After briefly claiming no damage had been done, the stranger drove away, making this a hit and run.
You
Our
stupid!
subscriber called the police, and they responded in under 10 minutes, just in time for the perpetrator to return to the scene. Our subscriber told us the guy then got in the responding officer's face and swore at him before ultimately getting arrested and charged with several citations. He didn't get any more specific, but we're just glad justice was served. Caleb was behind a Honda driver who failed to take advantage of a green arrow to make a protected left turn even after he honked at them. Watch what they then did after the light turned green.
You fucking moron!
The driver
You had your
failed to yield
chance!
for oncoming traffic, nearly causing multiple collisions as they forced other drivers to dodge them. This is just another perfect example of why situational awareness while driving is so key.
Yes,
Nick
it
watched a
is.
turning pickup get T-boned by an SUV driver who was speeding to beat a yellow light.
That's why you don't speed.
After the collision, Nick pulled over and checked on both drivers. Thankfully, neither was injured, but both claimed they'd had green lights when the collision occurred. Nick provided a copy of his dashcam footage to the responding
Sure.
police before leaving the scene, hopeful they could determine who was at fault for causing the wreck. Scott
think
was
that's
driving
who he
his
tried.
Toyota BZ4X in Texas down a road with a 45-mile-per-hour speed limit. He'd only entered the road a few seconds earlier and was going about 40 miles per hour when a pickup driver turned across the road without warning.
Well, at least he slowed down in time.
After Scott slammed on the brakes and slid to a stop, he told us the pickup driver just waved at him and smiled before she drove away in the opposite direction. He's glad he'd installed a dashcam in his new car just 2 weeks before this. Malinga's husband was driving his Toyota Yaris when he watched an oncoming SUV driver run a red light before getting T-boned by a Nissan Altima.
Okay, yeah. He's...
After the collision, the SUV driver sped away while Malinga's husband pulled over to speak with the victim driving the Nissan. But then they sped off
Son of a
too.
bitch! Fucking
The subscriber was driving in Oklahoma when something shocking happened.
Lightning! I saw that.
He wanted to shout out his family and told us they watch our videos together. If your family does
Yeah. Great video. Great video.
Speaking of Enid, just read this.
If you like this video, you can like, comment, share, and subscribe to me. and subscribe to both Random Dashcam and Random Tesla Cam. Watch more of their videos. And that is all to say, so I'll see you next time. Bye!